then I will establish the warning to you. Because you need to know the warning. What happens if you're being insincere with yourself? But first let me tell you the glad tidings. The glad tidings of this is first and foremost paradise. When you die and you pass away as a Muslim, you have paradise. Eternal joy where every day is better than the last for eternity. So, you can't even imagine that. And we say of paradise, it is a place that no man has seen or imagined and no ear has heard of. Yeah, you can't imagine it. That's how good it is. So that's what's waiting for you. That's the first thing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Secondly, before that actually, the first thing is the meeting of your Lord, seeing your Creator. That is the greatest blessing of paradise, is that you see who created you. As clear as you see the moon in the clear sky. And obviously the second reward is paradise in of itself. But in terms of the glad tidings here on earth, is that you live a clean life. And not just clean, but the purest sort of life, okay? Where society does not affect you. Where what happens around you doesn't affect you because you have an established path that you are walking upon. And you have all of your solutions sorted for you. And you have a guide that tells you how to live your life to the minute of details, even to how to go to the toilet. Well, that's how detailed this is, you know? And you might think to yourself, well, isn't it a given how people use the toilet? It's not, because a lot of people use the toilet and come out dirty, right? You know this, I know this. So hence the guidance. And we're talking about grown men that go into the toilet clean and they come out dirty. How does that happen? So the guidance is that precise and it's immovable. So you're never unsure. And there is evidence for everything that you believe. Evidence for everything that you believe. And the things that you have faith on, you have faith in them because of the evidence that led you to that. And this is why we say to you that the first step for when a person is on the journey to becoming a Muslim, the first step is knowledge. And when he has knowledge, he has what? He becomes certain of something. But what happens after you attain certainty? You accept it. You got to be sincere. So you accept something sincerely. And you get on with it. Right? And then over time you start to love what you are, what you believe in and what you do. For our faith is the belief in the heart, the testification in the tongue, and the belief and the action in the limbs. We embody our faith. And that's why Muslims, we have a way to deal with everyone. To people like you, we deal kindly and justly. To the people who try to fight us, we fight them back. We become warriors. At home, we are gentle to our wives, discipline our children. We know how to be, and we are taught all of this. So we can never go wrong.
Is that exclusive to Islam?
Yes.
The discipline of the children, is it exclusive?
Yes, the guidance is exclusive.
So, can I ask you a question?
Let me, if I may, let me just finish with him, and I'll come to you. It's not a problem. So, after all of everything has been said, I'll ask you again: why are you not Muslim? Is there anything I said that hasn't made sense to you?
No, I think your reasoning to be a Muslim, I think it makes sense. I think your story, your path, I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting, and I think
it's the evidence. Forget about my story.
I think what for me, what it is, what would make me believe is just to see God.
Okay. No problem. That's fine. That's fine. No problem.
See something happen in person.
No problem.
Then I would
in chapter 2. No problem. Here's the answer for you from the Quran. I already know you're going to say that. I already know you were going to say what you were going to say. Because it says in the Quran. Allah says in the Quran. They say, we will only believe if Allah speaks to us or shows us a sign. That's what you said.
Yeah.
The Quran is Allah speaking to you, and that is the sign.
But it's not him directly.
Oh, it is. No. That's him speaking to you directly.
It's him speaking to me directly.
To you directly.
But it's written
So what if it's written? If I message something, if I wrote something and I showed it to you, that's still me speaking to you, just in written form. But it's my communication to you.
If you wrote it on the note,
Yeah.
left on the floor, and I picked it up, is that still you talking to me? What if he picks it up? Is it you talking to me?
But that's the thing. That's what the Quran is. It speaks to every single person. So it speaks to you as an individual, and you will see it if you read it. Can we get a Quran? Can you get me a Quran from the stand, inshallah?
should I read? How is it meant to be read? How is the Quran meant to be
Brother
read?
can answer.
Is it like a?
Yeah, I've asked the brother to get me a
Is
Quran.
it a front to
Here's
back?
the,
How
right,
do you
so
read it?
God is eternal, right? This is what we believe. The Quran, you can open it anywhere, put your finger in, and read it from there, and you'll read it as if it's from the beginning. Huh?
I can follow up for you.
No, I want to give him a physical Quran.
No, we can see.
Oh man, they must have one. Okay. I think
I'll go home and I'll look at it.
yeah, you can.
It's gone.
It's gone. Inshallah, can you do me a favor? I think they have Qurans at the front. Do you know when we exit the park? Sorry, Akhi. Jazakallah khair. Because I really want to give it to you, give you a physical copy. Because at the end of the day, reading is better. Having a book is better. And like I said to you, it's not my story. You are not appealing to my story. Because what I said to you is, what's important for me as a Muslim is knowledge and evidence. So everything that I said to you where's that coming from? The Quran. Which comes from. And because it makes sense to you, and because you can't argue it, you're left in a position now where you're like, what do I do? What do I do? I've tried to go to say, oh, if only God speaks to me, but it's already answered.
I mean,
Because
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. But from my point of view is that he's not talking to me. But I see
Read
what
it.
you're saying is that
Read it.
I'll read it.
and you'll see that he is talking to you. And you will see yourself in the Quran. Because I've already shown you yourself in the Quran. When you said this, where did I show your statement from?
I mean, you said it.
Said it in the
But I'm
Quran.
sure you've also heard every other person that doesn't believe it also say that, right? Because it's,
Why? Because their hearts are alike. They think the same way. The psychology of man is not complicated. Not when you are taught the psychology of man from the creator of mankind, it's not complicated, and you will see it. And this is why, like I said to you before, it's easy for me to know what you're thinking.
Is there anything that would make you not believe? Is there anything that could happen that could change it?
No, because the evidence leads to that. And believe
There's no counter evidence. Nothing.
there are many people there are thousands of pounds, thousands of arguments that have been levied against the Quran, against
I'm not
Islam.
saying that an argument like a piece of evidence. Not like,
Oh yeah, no,
It's like how I said if God appeared here, I
nothing.
Is there something that could
There is nothing in the heavens and the earth that can dispute Islam. It's a bold claim. It's a very bold claim, but I can prove it. Anything that you can think of, I want you to take that up. If you want to believe and challenge Islam, do that. You know, find anything in the Quran and try and challenge it. Anything. Don't care. Perfect.
for you?
What's your advice for him to read the Quran?
I said to him in terms of the Quran, obviously you want to read it from cover to its back. But like I said to you, the Quran is eternal. And this is one of the things, and this is why I say this to you, because we are claiming that this is from God. So if eternal is God, if God is eternal, then his speech by definition is eternal, which means there is no beginning to it, there is no end to it. So you can open that Quran. Actually, let's do that exercise. Sorry, I know you just put it in your bag, but let's do that exercise. Flip the pages anywhere. That's upside down, but yeah, okay. Anywhere, stop. Just put your finger anywhere. Now read from that verse.
And when I inspired to the disciples, believe in me and my messenger, Jesus, they said, we have believed, so bear witness that indeed we are Muslims. Submission to Allah.
Do you know what's interesting? You were talking about the people before us. Were they Muslims? What was the verse you managed to land on? So what I said to you before, what we were talking about? We were talking about those who came before us and those who believed before us and those who were Muslims before us. What was the verse that you landed on?
That be in my messenger, Jesus.
So we're talking about a previous messenger. Carry on.
Jesus what? Did they say? That indeed
We have believed, so bear witness that we are
were too busy.
Yeah.
So Jesus was a Muslim.
So look at that. You have actually landed on the very verse that covers what we spoke about.
Is that a sign?
Is that not a sign?
Is that
No, it's not.
And I'll tell you why it's a sign. Because in Arabic, the word ayah, we call it the word ayah. The word ayah in Arabic means sign. So the verses of the Quran, each and every verse is a sign. So what I said to you, this speaks to you, and it is a sign. What were we talking about? What were we trying to establish? Believers,
Yes.
those who came before us. And you flicked anywhere. And you put your finger anywhere.
Quite the coincidence. I'll say that.
Really?
I'll
Are
say
we
that.
doing magic? You know what?
Really?
We're not magicians.
I'll say
You can take it as coincidence if you want, but be sincere with yourself. Out of 6,206 verses or something like that, 6,000 plus verses, you managed to land on the only one that were pertained to the topic we were discussing. That's not a coincidence, my friend.
I think it is.
Ah.
I
There's no. I'm gonna quote Uguay from Kung Fu Panda. There are no coincidences. There are no accidents. Yes. So, so this is the thing. So go home, read the Quran, and like I said, that you put your finger anywhere, it made sense straight away. You understood what he was saying to you. You didn't have to start from the beginning. That's what I'm saying to you. But now that's your exercise. If you're sincere, go home tonight. Have a shower. Okay? I'm not saying because you're filthy. We say this to everyone. Okay? I have to go home and have a shower. I need to cleanse myself every day. But I'll go home and have a shower, and just ask God for guidance. Just say, God, I seek the truth, and if you are the truth, guide me to it. That's it. Believe in your request. Okay? Don't think of it as just some hocus pocus. Like you're trying to whip something up, because you have had the evidence for you today. You've met a believer who knows how you think, because of the Quran. You've spoken to him.
You also talk to a lot of people like me.
You think it's about evidence. You think it's about experience. It's not about experience. It's about knowledge of the Quran. Because the only reason I know how you think is because of the Quran. And that's why every time you say something, I say, well, that's what it says in the Quran. I know where to point to. Because it's not experience. It's knowledge.
But you have had these.
Of course I have experience. But my ability to converse with people has been strengthened by my knowledge of the Quran.
Right.
It's not because of my experience. Because before I used to talk to people about the Bible and this, and I get nowhere. Yeah? Because I'm not speaking.
I mean that makes sense though. Like the more you know a lot about the Quran.
Yeah.
So you're able to speak about
No,
the
but I know a lot about the Bible as well.
Quran. You're able to speak what you know a lot about it, right?
Yeah, but it's not about speaking. It's about conveying the message. I am conveying the message of Islam, the message of the Quran. And when I conveyed the message of the Quran to you, you responded by saying it makes sense.
I said that, to be clear, I said that your reasoning for
But my reasoning is from where?
Your story.
But my reasoning is
the
from
Quran.
right.
But also from you study Islam, you study everything.
Yeah, so again, the root is still the Quran. So everything I am conveying to you the Quran. That is what I'm doing. And whenever I convey to you the Quran.
If you were, say you were a Christian, you had told me that you had studied Christianity.
No, forget about it. It's a hypothetical.
I think you would.
It's a hypothetical.
Same thing.
You will not be able to say it makes sense to a Christian. If a Christian spoke to you and gave you evidence from the Bible, you would not be able to stand there and say to him it makes sense.
You said to me that you studied
I beg to differ.
Islam, you studied
I beg to differ.
I know you would. I know, but I make certain claims because of how sure I
You
am.
know
Any
that
subject,
what
you
you're
just
standing
read it,
on,
and whatever you're studying,
you're looking to the Quran,
your
you
brain
will
goes
speak the
broader
opposite
and
of what you're
broader.
saying.
Yeah, that's what it is.
In what sense?
In the sense that the Quran says that you need to listen to the people of the book.
No, it doesn't say
Yes,
that.
it does.
No.
We're going to have a little chat with David Wood.
David Wood. He's not an academic. He's not knowledgeable in Islam.
All right, I'm going to stop with Jay Smith.
No, he's not knowledgeable in Islam. The thing is, you're speaking to these personalities that I'm well aware of, and I know them to not be academics.
They are academics.
No, they're not academics. Okay, all right. The best that I can give to them is to say that they are pseudo academics. They are not worth my time.
That's a lot of arrogance coming from you.
No. I am speaking to you as a person who has studied my scripture, who has studied my sources,
And they're done.
and no, they haven't.
That's right.
Okay, so
That's right.
like I said,
That's right.
my time is precious, and I will not
course, I
give
understand.
my time to pseudo academics.
You know everything, but obviously you don't.
What?
You don't.
Don't what?
Because I know you don't. Don't know what.
Don't what?
That you don't know what you think you say you don't.
I know exactly what I'm saying. That's why I'm always able to point to things. Anyway, I'm not here to. If you want me, you've came here and you said, okay, I could speak to David Wood or talk to Jay Smith, and I've responded to you and say, I am not going to waste my time with people who are pseudo academics who have an agenda, who are not knowledgeable on Islam. So that is your opinion, and this is
your opinion.
Yeah, no, that's your opinion that they are. I know for a fact, as a learned person, that they are not, and that's it. That's as far as it goes.
There are holes in the narrative.
There's holes in it. Look, that soundbite of holes in the narrative. You don't even know what you're speaking about.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, because.
Yes, I do, because I watched the whole video. I do.
Well done. You've watched the video. I've read the books.
The whole video.
Well done for reading and watching a video. Knowledge comes from reading books. Okay? Reading the source material, the primary source material.
Exactly.
Okay? Now, how do I know that David Wood and Jay Smith did not read the source material?
Yes, I did.
Do you know how I know they didn't? Because the source material is in Arabic and neither of them are learned in the Arabic language.
Are they explaining?
Are you gonna stand here and tell me that David Wood and Jay Smith are learned in the Arabic language?
Well, I'm going to say
No. Come on. If you're sincere, answer me this question. Is David Wood, is Jay Smith learned in the Arabic? Are they learned in the Arabic language?
I know that they study with people.
Are they learned?
Is there
Right,
something
okay.
lost in the translation of what I read in English? No, I can't
Yes.
read Arabic.
Yeah.
What is lost in the
Huh?
translation?
We look. If you want, we can exchange numbers. It's not a problem. And
waste your time.
you can ask me questions
wasting your time.
anytime.
You're wasting your time. Because he's lying. He's lying.
That's for him to decide.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I know that you're lying.
at the end of the day, I've always spoken to him about evidence. So he's going to go away and examine the evidence. Okay? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he's a grown man.
So anyway, George, I'll tell you what. If you don't mind, we'll exchange numbers, and you can ask me these questions, and I'll produce the evidence for you. It's not a problem. Okay? So at the end of the day, so what is taqiyya?
It means lying on behalf of Islam to protect the interests of Islam.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not true. What are the three forms of taqiyya?
I don't know the three forms.
Okay, so you don't know.
The basic definition is
No. So you don't. So there are three forms of taqiyya. By the way, the three forms of taqiyya, you can find it in the English language, but he doesn't know. And you're an associate of David Wood and Jay Smith, and you're asking me to go and debate with them. If you don't know, being an associate of these two, if you are uneducated as an associate,
and you'll find the definition is not too dissimilar to what I've just said.
okay, no problem. Okay, taqiyya is a concept in Islam. Okay, and that's why I said to him, what are the three methods? And he said it is lying for the interests of Islam. Except one of the forms of taqiyya is regarding you and your wife. So for example, if you don't think your wife is looking too good, you could lie to her and say, you look good. Is that in the interest of Islam?
That's not the definition. And he knows that.
No, it's one of the three forms. You don't know the three forms, so don't comment. Don't comment as if you know. I'm explaining to you. Okay? So anyway, like I said, listen. You do not know. You don't know. You don't know.
I've read it from your own
Be humble and say I don't
Maybe I
know.
didn't
Be humble and say I don't know.
didn't quote
Anyhow,
it properly, but I read
George,
it from your own sources.
at the end of the day, as I said to you,
He's doing taqiyya again
what we
because
have
I've read it
discussed,
from his own sources.
what we have discussed, you said it makes sense to you. So go away, inshallah. Read the Quran. If you're an objective person, he's just telling you to abandon it wholeheartedly. You have to. Yeah, look, I believe you to be sincere. I believe you to be
Did Jesus
sincere.
die on the cross or not?
No.
Lying. Because he did. That's historical fact. That's why the Quran
Is
is
it?
corrupt. That's a historical fact.
Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, 100% correct. And you know this to be true. Because the Quran.
What does the Quran say?
Besides.
What does the Quran say?
I'm not going to quote it, but I'm going to paraphrase.
I'll tell you what the Quran says. The Quran says, the Jews have claimed that we have killed the Messiah, son of Mary.
But they kill him not.
To be clear, when you say historical fact, Do you mean as in it was in the Bible?
No, as in historical.
As in it was like archaeology.
Yes, exactly.
Archaeology.
Yes, we got evidence of that from history.
Uh-huh.
From history.
Okay. What's the archaeological evidence of the crucifixion?
There is evidence of the fact that
No. He mentioned archaeology and you were like, yeah.
Did you find the bones?
Ah!
There is evidence of the individuals. that
Right, okay.
actually-
So you lied when you said yes to archaeological evidence.
Evidence of the individual that
Listen.
was on the cross, okay? Which is
Look, I will catch you in every single lie that you spout. Because when he's asked you about archaeology, you were quick to say yes. You were quick to say do not take me as a fool. Do not. Pontius Pilate would have never crucified someone like Jesus because Jesus was not a rebel.
as far as he was concerned, he was a rebel.
No.
Yes.
No, he wasn't.
Yes.
Okay, your scripture does not say that Pontius Pilate considered him as a rebel. Where did you get this information from?
Because he was told by the populace that he called
what-
himself a king.
Who told him he called himself a king? Who was the populace?
The Sanhedrin.
The Sanhedrin. Why would that Sanhedrin say this?
Because they wanted to get rid of him.
The people of the
Because they
Sanhedrin were
wanted to
awaiting.
get rid
I
of
tell
him.
you, the Sanhedrin was awaiting the Messiah.
Yes.
Were they not?
Yes.
So why did they betray the Messiah?
Because
Why
they
would it be
thought
the?
he wasn't the Messiah.
Why not?
Because they didn't like what he had to say. And they
Was he
wanted
not
to
the
get
son
rid
of David?
him. Yes, he was.
Did they know him to be the son of David?
They didn't want to accept it.
Oh, right, okay.
didn't
So
want to
so they lied about him.
Yes.
Okay, but why does Pontius Pilate care about what the
Because
Jews
they
think
didn't
about
want
Jesus?
a riot, so he gave them what they wanted.
Did he though?
Yes.
Was it a Roman tradition to let a captive go?
Yes. And elect.
Okay,
and
give me
and
give me a primary historical source that shows this to be a tradition of the Romans, that they allow a person to go free.
The gospel.
The gospel, no.
The Bible, you said
No,
reliable.
you talk about history.
It's historical.
No. The
It
gospel is
historical. It is
ahistorical.
historical.
It's not
It is
historical.
historical. And you can't prove that it's not.
I can.
No, you can't.
I can.
No, you can't.
Okay.
No, you can't.
Were you saying
All right.
Bibles?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So the Bible is not a historical
Yes, it
document.
is.
No.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So here's the
Have you
thing.
have you ever read the book of Luke?
I've read the entirety of the Bible. Okay.
Then you don't know what you're talking about then.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Because if you read the book of Luke, you would know that it's historical.
I can highlight to you all
you can't
the
highlight
things.
anything because if you read the
I
book
just
of
call
Luke,
you out on your lie.
it's
You talked about
historical.
history, but then
If
when I
you
asked,
read the
when
book of Luke
I
and
talked
the
to you,
book of Acts,
I
you
told you
would
to give me
know
a
that it's
secondary.
historical.
The thing is, I asked you give me a secondary primary, another primary source. I told you, give me another primary source. Josephus.
Yes.
Josephus is a Jew that will never call Jesus the Christ. The earliest authentic,
is he did talk about the Messiah.
the
He
earliest.
did talk about a man who was crucified.
Why is the earliest
That's the
authentic?
point that-
Why is the
the point
earliest?
he
Let
did
me
say
tell you.
there was a man who was
you know,
crucified.
you don't want me to speak because you know you're getting caught out.
No.
Then-
you are
then
getting
listen,
caught out.
then listen,
I have already
then listen.
said. He already said. I already said that he talked about a man who was crucified.
No, he didn't.
Yes, I did.
All right, what is the most preserved works of Josephus?
There's so many of them.
No. What is the how was the Book of Antiquities preserved?
That I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Okay, it was preserved by the Arabs in the 9th century. By the Arabs, they preserved the Book of Antiquities in the Arabic language in the 9th century. Guess what's missing in that translation? Guess what's that missing? That very passage that talks about the Messiah being called Christ.
Which these fools do not believe. You don't believe it.
I know my stuff.
You
Okay,
know,
so I'm going to get back to George because you interrupted our.
What you don't know. What you don't know.
You are not
is that
speaking.
there is
You are not.
historical evidence.
You are not speaking to any
There is
Muslim.
historical
Do not
evidence.
stand here and think you're speaking to any Muslim.
You are.
I
you
am.
know historical
Look, I know what I'm talking about, and I do not speak on anything unless what I have evidence. So when I speak about the Bible, I talk to you from evidence. When I speak about history, I talk to you from evidence. There is no extra biblical evidence that shows. There is no. Let me finish the sentence. There is no extra biblical evidence that shows that the Roman judiciary would let a captive go. Not only any captive, a captive who is known to be a rebel to the Roman Empire. This does not exist in history because the one that was let go was the actual rebel, Jesus Barabbas, which conveniently means Jesus, son of the Father. Okay? So don't talk to me about history. I know the Bible to be ahistorical because that is mentioned in the Bible, and it is ahistorical because there is nothing like that in history. Furthermore, you talked about Luke. Okay, now I'm going to unload on you a little bit. Okay?
Go ahead.
So now in Luke, the birth narrative of Luke. You talk about holes in the narrative. Let's talk about the narrative of the birth of Luke in the Gospel account according to Luke. It mentions about Quirinius. And Quirinius, who did the census in Syria. Now, Quirinius, the only time he did the census was in 6 AD, which is interesting because that contradicts what is mentioned in Matthew, because Matthew talks about King Herod. And the reason that they had to flee to Egypt was because of King Herod and him killing all the babies that was only younger, mirroring what happened in the time of Moses. Hence why Christians try to equate the prophet like Moses to Jesus, because they try to use the Exodus story, sorry, not the Exodus story, but the birth of Moses or the situation surrounding Moses to Jesus. Okay? No, I'm not. I'm saying there is the Christians tend to use this as a connection to show how Jesus is like Moses. But the contradiction here is that the narrative in Matthew is a minimum of 10 years difference. So Jesus was born in 4 BC and in 6 AD according to the Gospel accounts. The Gospel of Matthew puts him in 4 BC because that is when King Herod died. So we are putting it as late as possible. And King Herod died. Assalamu alaikum. تعال هنا. الحمد لله. طيب اشوفك ان شاء الله بعد قليل. Okay? And here you go. Of course you won't waste your time because now we are discovering the holes in your narrative. Okay? So King Herod died in 4 BC. This is established historically, and we talk about the Book of Antiquities. And we talk about the Book of Antiquities. The Book of Antiquities, there is a specific section within the Book of Antiquities that talks about the atrocities of King Herod, and that does not document the killing of babies of 1 and younger. Right? Okay. Well, okay. So, and that's what happens when an educated Muslim unloads on an ignorant Christian.
No.
I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to continue with George, because he is someone who wants to critique the evidence, who wants to see the evidence for himself.
Type out Bart Ehrman. Okay, he's not even a Christian. I need to tell you what he doesn't know.
Don't worry.
Bart Ehrman he's a scholar of
I will tell you exactly what he's thinking. I'll tell you exactly what he's thinking, right? Because Bart Ehrman made a specific statement that Christians love to hang on to. He said that the crucifixion of Christ is one of the most undisputed facts of history. This is a quote by Bart Ehrman. Yet the very same Bart Ehrman, throughout several of his books, challenges the details of the crucifixion and points out contradictions and theological differences and problems with the narrative across the 4 Gospels when he does a horizontal reading. No, but he looks at the historical analysis of the New Testament and he reads it horizontally across the 4 Gospels and highlights the contradictions and the theological problems regarding the Passion narrative.
That's an unequivocally.
Where's your evidence to the contrary?
Unequivocally.
It is very easy for us to say it is not true, what he is saying is lying, but yet when I speak to you, I am quoting my sources.
He doesn't know.
I am quoting my evidence. And this is what George is going to see.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Evidence. Okay, yes.
You keep on saying that he doesn't
But the
know.
reality is different. The evidence. The reality is
No problem. And like I said, I have no time for pseudo-intellectuals who have an agenda. No, I'm not talking about you now. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about pseudo-intellectuals, which are not intellectuals, who have an agenda and who have no knowledge on Islam. I'm not going to waste my time with them. So David Wood and Jay Smith.
Okay, they killed a nut. First of all,
Yeah, they killed him not.
If you look at that particular verse, okay, it makes Allah who is speaking, okay, makes him to be a deceiver. Okay, that makes him to be a deceiver. In which case, Allah, the deceiver, is not God.
Is the deceiver a name of Allah? Is the deceiver a name of Allah?
No. But
No, okay. So it's not an attribute of Allah.
Purposely deceived those who thought that they killed Jesus.
You're mixing two completely different
No,
verses.
the point is, they killed him. Like, it was only that it appeared to be so.
No, that's not in the Quran.
I'm paraphrasing. I said,
No, it's not even in the Quran. Even if you paraphrase it, that's not in the Arabic text. I know my Quran, I know my Bible, I know my history, I know my theology.
I'm saying, Taqiyya. This is exactly the evidence of taqiyya that I'm talking about.
Do you know
Right
Arabic?
here.
Do you know Arabic?
Right
Do you know what the
here.
Arabic verse
No,
says?
this is
No,
taqiyya.
but I'm lying.
This is taqiyya.
You don't know the Arabic. You don't know what the Arabic says.
That's just taqiyya.
You don't know what the
This
Arabic
is
text is.
exactly my point.
But I'm lying.
This is exactly my point. This is exactly my point.
I'll see you later.
This is exactly my point.
All right.
Taqiyya, all the way through.
Stand on.
Like I said to you, I'll see you later. So George,
This is exactly my point.
at the end of the day, look,
Taqiyya.
you're your own man. You have your own intellect. You've seen the exchange. I'll leave it to you to decide. I don't need to spoon feed you.
I have one question. If you
Sure.
can bridge it there.
Of course.
So about obviously the Quran is in Arabic.
Yes.
And
Taqiyya, remember.
I'm going to read the English version.
Yes.
What is there something lost in which?
Look, anything you read, there's always going to be something lost in translation. There's always going to be something that you don't understand.
Is it that the Arabic has a better way to like?
So-
is there some words that are
Yeah, no,
in
okay.
Arabic that
So here's the
aren't in
thing:
English?
the Arabic, the thing with the Arabic language is that there are many words that carry more than one meaning simultaneously, and you can't translate that. So that's what happens, right? So you'll still understand what you're reading. That you don't be worried about. But you will have questions about some of the ambiguous verses. There will be things that you come across.
Because
You'd be
there's
like,
double meanings.
it's not about double meanings. It's just simply you'd be concerned, curious about context.
Yeah.
Why was this revealed? What is it? What's the theology behind this? You have curiosity, and there will be questions. This is no doubt. That's why I'm saying to you, I don't mind.
This is the verse I was talking about.
I don't mind. Yeah, what does it say in the Arabic?
Not in the Arabic, but the English version, which they will acknowledge because they put it in their own Qurans, the ones that they pass out to England.
What is it? What is it that we have put in the English translation?
Okay, it says,
What? No. Where did that come from? I'm asking you for the origin because I know what you're talking about.
there's many different translations.
No. So you don't even know. What is the source of that part of the English that you're referring to?
There's this one, I don't particularly know which translation this
Oh,
is.
subhanallah. What do you know?
Surah An-Nisa, 157.
I know. Yeah. The part that says, but it appeared to them. But what else does it say in your translation? But someone was.
They killed not the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah, and did not crucify him. But another was made.
Another
to
was
resemble
made.
him.
Another was made to resemble him.
Another was
Where is that
made
in the
to-
Arabic?
Which means that was the deception.
Yeah, no. Where's that? Where was that from? What's the source of that?
What's the source? Your Quran.
No.
Yes, the
No,
translation of it.
no, it's actually Judeo-Christian sources. Because
Yusuf
the
Ali? He got
Yusuf
Ali?
He got you.
do you know why?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's
What are you talking about?
that part that is
Yusuf Ali,
that part is
one of your
Yusuf,
most
listen.
renowned translators.
Listen.
Come on, stop lying.
no, I'm not lying
It's more
because
taqiyya.
I'll tell you why.
It's more
Because it is that specific thing about another being resembled. This is known as the substitution theory, right? And the substitution theory, and look, I have an answer. I have an answer to all your unacademic nonsense. So here's the thing. The substitution theory, what is being referred to in the translation is a substitution theory.
Here's the devil.
So,
no,
Uncle, inshallah. Let me speak to George. Let me speak to George. So what happens here is that the substitution theory is in the translation. However, it's under marks to show that it's not within the Arabic text. Now, this specific explanation is found within our sources known as the Israeliyat. Now, Israeliyat in Arabic refers to the tradition of the Jews and the Christians, so Judeo-Christian sources. So which means that we drew from their earliest sources.
There's a lot of overlap between. Or there's
Oh
some
yeah, there
overlap.
is overlap.
Yeah.
Not a doubt. But it was actually the early Christians. There was a sects among the early Christians that believed that a disciple was put in the place of Jesus. All right, and there are other sects that believed it was what's his name? Judas. Judas that was placed on the cross in place of Jesus for his
the guy that betrayed.
because he betrayed him. So hence he got the punishment of the crucifixion instead of Jesus. Now these are beliefs held by early Christians. Now today they would consider them Gnostic and heretics, but this was a belief. But the Muslims took this, and by the way, the Muslims, we don't believe this to be certain. This is simply the most popular opinion, right? But he doesn't know. He doesn't even know where we get the sources from. So when I say to him, it's from your sources actually. It's first century and second century Judeo-Christian sources that we get this understanding from. He couldn't. What could he say? Oh, you're lying. How am I lying? How am I lying? If you're gonna say lie, I'm lying. Fine, no problem. Substantiate it. Evidence. Because every time he came to me with something, not only did I know what he was going to say, I knew what he was citing, and I knew the counter to it.
So Islam believes that Judas was born.
No. So one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his name is Ibn Abbas. Now Ibn Abbas was of the opinion that a disciple. So he gives a narrative, and he says that at the Last Supper, Jesus told them the plans of the Romans and the Jews. So he said they want to crucify me and everything. So a disciple, the youngest disciple, stood up and said, I will take your place. And he told him to sit back down. This happened 3 times, and then he agreed. And Allah raised, so the ascension, we believe in the ascension, but we believe that Allah raised him from that house, from the Last Supper. So the Last Supper was the last time the disciples saw him. So he was raised up through the roof, and that man had
Being Jesus.
Yes. And then the disciple, the youngest disciple that offered himself, he took on the likeness. So God changed his appearance to look like Jesus. So when the Romans came barging in, and they arrested him instead of Jesus. Jesus was already with Allah in heaven, right? So he ended up being crucified. Now this is a belief that Gnostic Christians held. But Ibn Abbas, he thought it made the most sense to explain how Jesus was never crucified and never killed. So he took that on board, and he never stated that this is exactly what happened. It was his personal opinion. But it became a popular opinion, so some translators put that opinion into the thing to give you context. That's what happens. So he's not going to tell you all of that. He's going to tell you what? We lie. So this is what I'm saying to you. There will be questions that you have. And if we exchange numbers, like I said, you don't have to, I don't mind, but I have my own channel. You can reach to me on Instagram, TikTok, wherever. It's up to you how you want to get a hold of me, and we can do that. And there will be questions, and I'm more than happy to answer them and give you the evidence as I've done today.
Sure.
Yeah? George, it was an absolute pleasure. Likewise. Do you want to exchange numbers then? Yeah. Okay. We'll do that away from the cameras.
Sorry, last
Yallah.
What do you think happened?
So I'm just going to do a conclusion and then.
No, not you.
So Alhamdulillah, we spoke with George, Alhamdulillah, sincere lad, who has had the message of the Quran resonate with him. And this is a lesson for us Muslims. When we give da'wah, we want to give da'wah using the Quran. For at the end of the day, it is the Quran that tells us how the people that we engage with da'wah, how they think. And how to engage with those who are sincere, and how to engage with those who are insincere, like the Christian that has interrupted us. So alhamdulillah, you give them the message of Islam, and subhanAllah, to the sincere, it will only make sense. And because it makes sense, alhamdulillah, he has accepted the Quran, and inshallah we will be in communication. And so make dua for his hidayah, make dua for all of our hidayah. May Allah bless us and reward us and keep our intentions pure. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.